What's up guys, Mitchell Watts with Town & Country TV, and today I'm very excited because normally we're reviewing a car or a truck, something like that. Today we're reviewing the tires that are on this truck. These are the brand new KM3s from BF Goodrich. Now first up, for context, let's tell you a little bit about what we're driving in. This is a 2018 Ford F-150 Raptor. It's customized by Southern Comfort Performance. I personally call it a MegaRaptor because it is a lifted Raptor. But anyways, it has a 4-inch Fabtech suspension lift and a set of 37-inch, as we already said, BFG KM3s. That's the brand new mud terrain from BF Goodrich. I want you to keep that in mind primarily because at the end of the day, this is a very tall tire, 37 inches tall, and we're talking about a mud terrain. So typically in years past, this tire would beat you to death. It would be so loud you couldn't even make a video on the inside of the truck. Well, today is a lot different. In the past, I've always been a big fan of BFG ATKO2 tires. That's their all-terrain tire. And I've always stayed away from the mud terrain, one, because I don't do a whole lot of off-roading anymore now that I've got a bunch of kids. I used to spend all of my time off-roading back in a couple of years ago before kids. But the main thing is that just a mud terrain wasn't the right tire for me at that time. Now technology has advanced so far that these tires are completely different than the previous versions like the KM2s. For instance, this particular tire has a 5% better mud traction, and the reason is because it has these massive tread blocks that allow it to grab the mud and then basically keep the traction going. Now, normally when you're grabbing mud in a mud terrain, that's a terrible thing because the mud gets caked down into the tires and it just turns it into like a drag slick. Well, instead, these tires have a brand new, what they call a mud phobic bar that is in between those massive tread blocks. And basically what it does is it prevents the tires from creating a suction and holding that mud down onto the tire. It allows it to release as the tire spins. Now, compared to the KM2, this tire also happens to have 8% better rock traction. And the reason for that, they have something they call it Crawl Tech Compound. And basically what that does is it allows for better grip on smooth or slick surfaces like rocks or gravel, that kind of a thing. But you also happen to have what they call a linear flex zone on these tires. And basically what that does, it's once again another marketing term, but it is pretty cool technology. It allows that tire to flex and to basically engulf the objects around it when you're in an aired down situation. So when you let the tire pressure down and you're trying to rock crawl or trying to get over these tires, that's what it does. It allows that tire to flex, but only in an aired down situation. That's the reason, and a couple of other reasons, that these tires drive so well on the road is because when they're aired up, you ain't got no problems. Me personally, the place that I think that they hit the nail on the head with these tires is with the tougher sidewalls. In fact, these tires have a 27% stiffer sidewall than the previous KM2s that were out on the market. One of the ways they do that is what they call their Core Guard Max technology. It's basically just a thicker sidewall that allows you to have a stiffer tire when you're on the interstate, but it also allows for when you're aired down in those situations, or if you need the stiffness in the sidewall, it's not going to allow the tire to get cut by rocks and sharp objects, things like that. The last thing I want to talk about as far as the sidewall is they have a brand new technology that they're calling their Traction Armor Sidewall Sculpture. That's a mouthful. It took me like 8 times to say that, but that's what BF Goodrich is calling their new technology that allows the tire to prevent splitting when you're doing that rock crawling and when you're doing that really adverse situations in those tires. It'll keep the tire intact is the best way of wording it. All right, so now that we've got all of those big fancy terminologies that BF Goodrich is talking about, I do want to let you know what my first impressions of these tires are. Keep in mind, this MegaRaptor is typically outfitted with a couple of Nitto Ridge Grappler tires, which is kind of like a hybrid. It's not really a mud terrain. And those are pretty good tires. I have no complaints. You can drive on the interstate all day in those, no problem. But compared to those tires, because that's really what I have a lot of experience in, is comparing those two different tires. These tires are slightly louder, and I do mean slightly, almost to the point where if you don't drive this truck and drive multiple trucks every day like I do, you probably wouldn't even notice the difference between the two, but it is very slightly louder. I will say that the handling on the road actually does feel a little bit better than the Nitto Ridge Grapplers, and once again, I love those Nittos, but it does feel like the tires handle a little bit on the interstate a little bit better. Now, obviously, this being a brand new vehicle, I'm not going to go take it mudding and showcasing that to you. So, unfortunately, we don't have anything to compare there, but I can tell you one thing. In my previous experience in off-roading with my Ford Bronco and my F-150 with some BF Goodrichs on them, these tires will not disappoint as far as off-roading situations. I think the biggest thing, or the biggest question for me, would be how well do they handle on the roads? As far as the street ability of these tires, I'm very pleased with the way this thing is handling. I'm on a very curvy road. It's up and down hills. The tires feel like they're planted on the road. I don't feel like I'm going to slide off. And last night when I was driving the vehicle home, I took the interstate, 80 miles an hour, absolutely no problems. I feel comfortable letting my hands off the steering wheel. That's how true the alignment is on this vehicle, but also that's a testament to the tires, and the fact that there's no vibration at 80 miles an hour in these mud terrains means that Southern Comfort did a very good job of mounting and balancing these wheels and tires. Now, I'll also tell you that if the tire is not a good tire to begin with, good luck on getting any of it to ever balance out. So that is a testament to BFG and to Southern Comfort. The last thing we need to talk about on these tires is going to be the price. As you can see on the screen, these tires are not cheap. But what's that old saying? You kind of get what you pay for. So I'm kind of curious. I want to know your feedback. Leave some comments down below and let me know, do you think that's an astronomical price for these tires? Or do you think that it's a pretty decent price? You kind of get what you pay for. Leave those comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, make sure to leave those in the comments as well. Hit the thumbs up button, and if now's the first time joining our channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'd love to interact with you that way. And also follow me on Instagram. My handle is Mitchell S. Watts, and I'll have that link down in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day.